Welcome to the Tepper School of Business Multimedia Series. For more information on the Tepper School at Carnegie Mellon, please visit us at www.tepper.cmu.edu/multimedia. And now, here's your selected video.
Now, please join me in welcoming Professor Oliver Williamson.
Well, thank you very much. Those are very generous remarks, and you'll hear an echo of them in some of my own, so it'll be reinforced. This is a remarkable institution, and it's my really great pleasure and honor to be here in this capacity. So, Dean Damon, members of the faculty and staff of the Tepper School of Business, parents and relatives and friends, we're assembled here today to witness and celebrate an auspicious event, namely the award of master's and doctoral degrees to the 2011 graduates of the Tepper School of Business, who, having completed their training, will be moving on with the benefit of this training to reshape the world in the years ahead. Congratulations and Godspeed. Your training and experience and memories of Carnegie are deeply embedded, and you will serve us well in the future. As will be evident from my remarks, Carnegie holds a special place in my heart and a central place in my professional career. As I have said elsewhere and repeat here, the 3 years that I spent as a student in the Ph.D. program in what was then the Graduate School of Industrial Administration was the most important intellectual event in my life. I'm sure that many of today's graduates do or soon will feel the same way. But how can we get this across? There is a uniqueness about Carnegie that can be felt but defies explanation. I will try nonetheless. My remarks are in 3 parts. I begin with an overview of GSIA and what made it distinctive. I then described a series of events that were responsible for what seems to have been my destiny, becoming a student at Carnegie. And I wrap up with some thoughts about this year's graduates. So to begin, I have always marveled at my experience as a student at the Graduate School of Industrial Administration, which is the predecessor of the Tepper School of Business. It was only last December, however, when I was speaking with Jim March at a conference at Stanford, that I described these years as the Camelot years. Jim is a gifted teacher and researcher and was a member of the GSIA faculty when I arrived in the fall of 1960. I took an organization theory course from him in the first semester and a reading course in the second. We have been friends since, and both often reflect on the marvel of GSIA from its founding years in 1950. The years 1955 to 65 are the Camelot years. Jacques Drez, who was a visitor at GSIA in the late 1950s and is a world-class economist, made the following statement about Carnegie in 1995, and this is a quote: "Never since have I experienced such intellectual excitement." I could not agree more. To walk through the doors of GSIA, and take a deep breath was an exhilarating experience. You knew you were in the company of young Turks who were on a mission to transform social science research and teaching by proceeding heedless of disciplinary boundaries. The Carnegie triple, as I learned it, was this: be disciplined, be interdisciplinary, have an active mind. Being disciplined entails mastering your core discipline. Being interdisciplinary entails crossing disciplinary boundaries if and as the phenomena under examination are intrinsically interdisciplinary. And having an active mind entails asking, what is going on here, rather than pronouncing, this is the law here, when new challenges arise. That orientation, together with hard work and a lot of give and take, was a formula for satisfaction and success, as the GSIA record reveals. My dissertation committee had all these qualities. Indeed, colleagues of mine shake their heads in wonder when I tell them that Richard Seiert, then Dean of GSIA and subsequently President of Carnegie Mellon University, chaired my dissertation committee. The other three members were Alan Meltzer, who is in Washington, D.C., as the recipient of the recent 2011 Bradley Prize. Leonard Rapping was a young assistant professor, and Herbert Simon, whose brilliance is legendary, as reflected in his teaching and research and large number of endowed chairs bearing his name throughout the university, was the fourth. But even more astonishing are the Nobel Prize in the economic sciences to which Dean Damon referred. And many of them were concentrated in the Camelot years. Herbert Simon received it in 1978, Franco Modigliani in 1985, Merton Miller in 1990, Robert Lucas in 1995, to which 4 students from that era have also been awarded Nobel Prizes: Finn Kydland and Edward Prescott in 2004, myself in 2009, and Dale Mortensen last year. The beat goes on. This is a remarkable record. Not only did GSIA faculty break new ground and give us an impetus to social science research that continues to play out, but this same commitment to excellence in the Tepper School of Business will assuredly bring us more of the same. Take satisfaction, therefore, upon receiving your degrees today, that you are part of a proud tradition. GSIA, Tepper, Carnegie. You graduates have earned a unique place in the firmament by perceiving new opportunities, by innovating and delivering the goods. You will have opportunities as alumni to keep that tradition going. That's your heritage and joy. I move next to describe the series of events that conspired to bring me to Carnegie. It begins in Superior, Wisconsin, which is the small town where I grew up and went to high school. Although Andrew Carnegie, among others, believed Superior would rival Chicago, that did not materialize. Indeed, Superior has had to struggle to remain viable. It had a quality, however, that I have come to cherish. It is the most democratic community that I ever lived in. Talent in Superior took many forms, and my contemporaries reliably came down on the merits. It is a breath of fresh air for me to renew the older friendships when I get back there every summer with my wife and family. Among other things, growing up in Superior taught me to be adaptive. Try this, try that. Discover your interests in the process, and listen to capable people of goodwill who take an interest in your career. So when I ascertained that I enjoyed math and science in high school and decided I wanted to be an engineer, my mother, who was a former high school teacher, pronounced that MIT was the place for me to go. With the benefit of the advice of the physics teacher at the local college, I enrolled in Ripon College, which had a combined plan with MIT. My calculus teacher, Dr. Clifford Crump, was an inspiration and made a point of holding my feet to the fire. Upon finishing my degree at MIT and working as a project engineer, I decided I would get a Ph.D. in business and was admitted to the Graduate School of Business at Stanford. I moved from Stanford to Carnegie ensued as a product of 4 lucky events. First, I became intrigued with economics when I took an economics class from James Howell, who had just joined the business school faculty and recognized, before I did, that I had economic interest and intuitions. Secondly, on Howell's advice, I took a class with Kenneth Arrow in the economics department, which class confirmed Howell's perception and greatly whetted my appetite. The third lucky event was that, due to an office crowding condition at the business school, 3 Ph.D. candidates shared one half of an office, while the other half was occupied by another new faculty hire, a young fellow named Charles Benini, who had just finished his Ph.D. at GSIA. Chuck and I would chat, and he would ask me about my interests. The conversation invariably ended with his observation, "You ought to be at Carnegie." I eventually followed up these queries and then with then Dean Lee Bach, who answered patiently and persuasively. The final lucky event is that I had been awarded a 3-year Ford Foundation fellowship that was portable. Having been persuaded of the merits of GSIA and having met and married an adaptable wife, we, with our 2 children, moved to Pittsburgh, the image of Pittsburgh from my 5th grade geography book notwithstanding. As it turned out, we were in for a double-barreled delight. GSIA was off the map in intellectual excitement, and Pittsburgh was and is a great city. What's the lesson of this long digression? For those of you who, like myself, are discovering your interests, the lessons are these. Keep your antenna in alert mode. Be curious. Take advantage of the knowledge and goodwill of others, and be adaptable. It has been my experience that you can often reverse mistakes, but Chester Barnard's advice applies even if you can't, and this is a quote from Barnard. At a crisis in my youth, my father taught me the wisdom of choice, and namely, to try and fail is at least to learn. To fail to try is to suffer the inestimable loss of what might have been. To which, however, I would add 2 more things. First, there is a lot to be said for marrying an adaptable spouse. And then Thomas Jefferson's remarks about luck are also noteworthy. Jefferson tells us, "I'm a great believer in luck." And then he continues, "And I find the harder I work, the more I have of it." There's a lesson there. This brings me to this year's graduates. First of all, along with everyone assembled here, I congratulate you and take satisfaction in your accomplishments. Second, I want to call your attention to an aspect of Carnegie that is implicit in my remarks but deserves emphasis. Carnegie Mellon in general, and the Tepper School in particular, are very entrepreneurial organizations. You have seen it work, and you are well positioned to carry on this tradition. Big challenges await. Big challenges await that entrepreneurial spirit and take that with you wherever you go. Find your niche and enjoy. We need your energy and intelligence and goodwill. I am confident that all of that will be forthcoming and more. Bon voyage.